Hey guys, welcome back to Harping on the Past,
a Theater Kid podcast,
where we talk about theater, past, present, and probably the future. And you guys, I am so excited, so thrilled, because if you guys are just listening, you wouldn't know that you heard two different voices on this podcast today who aren't normally here. So I'm so excited to present and introduce you guys two of my wonderful friends, Priya and Nathan. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast today.
So happy to be here. Yeah. Thank you for having us.
You guys are so freaking cute. I love this so much. So we're doing another episode of the podcast. We are not in our usual podcast space again. We are here at New Village Arts. Thank you, New Village Arts, for hosting us for like the 1,000th time now. But yeah, I met Nathan and Priya a couple years ago when we were doing the Ferryman. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I'll let them introduce themselves really quick. I'll start off with Priya and then we'll head on over to Nathan.
Hey guys, I'm Priya. I'm a San Diego actress, just recently graduated. And
yeah,
you know, these fun folks from, again, the Ferryman.
Yep. I'm Nathan. I typically stage manage, but I do a lot of set carpentry, and some set designing as well. That's me.
That's you guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's us.
That's you.
And we're all here.
We're all here. And I'm so happy that we're doing this because we talked about a little bit ago doing an episode of this podcast together. We met up for donuts and then we were sitting there and about halfway through we're like, we should just be recording this conversation because this is so fun.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that we're finally making this all work out. So you guys, before we just dive into talking about whatever random stuff, this is a theater podcast.
Yeah.
So we always do this segment on our podcast called Why Am I Getting Hired or Why Am I Getting Fired from a Show? And I'll give you guys some examples. Last time I did the podcast with the Ferryman peeps, we had our wonderful friend Gio said that he was getting fired because he was oversleeping and missing his call time. So it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I did not come up with a fired or a hired for this episode. So let's see what I come up with right now. But I think I'm getting hired because I'm making my script very colorful and fun, and I'm highlighting it. I have a question for you, Priya, actually. Yeah. So when you get a script and you have a character, do you highlight the whole line or just the name?
You know what's so funny? For so long, I was only the name, and I thought I was like, I don't know. I feel that's how I perceived myself to be at that time because I saw, everyone did the full line.
Yes.
And then one day I did the whole line, and I was like, why didn't I just do the whole line?
I don't understand how people highlight just the name.
Yeah.
It freaks me out. I'm like, how do you know when to learn your stuff? It's confusing. So I'm a highlight the whole line kind of person. Yep. I'm definitely doodling in my script during the rehearsal and all that. So that's why I'm getting hired. I'm having fun and I'm prepared. I'm professional and I have my script ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Alrighty. Whoever wants to go next. Who's ever up for sharing? No pressure or nothing.
Yeah, I gotta think of mine.
Hired or fired.
And like I said, it doesn't have to be specific to theater. It could literally be, I'm getting fired because I ran over an apple in my driveway. I'm like, okay, sure.
Apple.
I don't know.
So, okay, I have a fired, actually.
Great, I love this.
If you don't mind me hijacking it.
Please do.
So, wait, did I say hired or fired? I meant fired, whatever it was.
I heard fired.
Because you said it doesn't necessarily have to be prevalent to this. Right. I work at a restaurant also, so I work at a restaurant, I work here, and I work in carpentry, and I do all this fun stuff, so it's too much. But for my restaurant job, I am getting fired because of my coworkers.
Ooh.
God damn. Oh, God, I really hope none of them are watching. Sorry, everybody. I love you all in a way.
They're going to find this be so Nathan, we have to pull you into the office.
Yes. As people, you are wonderful people. But as workers, you are fucking terrible. Oh, I don't know if can I curse?
You can cuss. You're fine.
Okay, great. You're fucking terrible. Dude, they are always late. I always have to be asking them to do stuff. Yeah, okay, wait, maybe this is a hired because I'm babysitting
Not-
them.
You know what? That's okay. Whatever you
Yeah.
want it to be. It could
You
be
know
a
what?
hired or you fired. It could be
It's
both,
it's
honestly.
both. It's a hired. It is so awful. They're all so bad at their job, and it's such an easy job. Like it's a fast casual restaurant, so it's like it's not hard work.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
they come up to a podium, we take their order, we make it, and then we'll bring it out to them, and that's it. Like it is so incredibly simple. But they're just so bad at
But yet,
And people will mess it up.
Yeah.
They mess up. Okay,
They
so
find
that's why you're
ways
getting
to mess it
you're
up.
getting hired because you're saving the day from it.
I don't know. I mean, yes, whenever I'm there, like I'll do things that they were supposed to be doing, but fired because they're gonna make me explode.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, you're valid.
Sorry if any of you are watching. I love you all.
I love
but
how you started too.
you're
You were
bad.
like, just to be clear, you're great, but also you're
Yeah.
horrible.
But also,
Like,
let's get real here. Let's talk about
no,
this.
but also, yeah, face
Yes.
the facts. Face the facts.
I love that. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to mind for me, it's a little more literal, but like, I feel like I'm hired because in normal survival jobs,
Right.
because I'm an actor. I think almost every interview, especially my first one, which is like I was 16 and I didn't have a resume, but I lied. Sorry, Target.
Well,
And my entire interview was improv. I was just like, and then I was receptionist, and no, it was informal. It was my grandmother, and it was just that didn't happen.
I mean, listen, but that's honestly like. You have to be like people like underestimate like people in customer service stuff like that. Like even
Yeah.
for a job interview, like that's an audition. Like when they're
Yeah.
asking you the questions like why do you want to work with this company? Like why us? And I just think it's gonna help me grow as a person, and I just can't wait to. And you're like, no, I need money.
No,
like
no,
come on,
yeah,
guys.
you
Like
can't
for real,
say
you
that,
know why I
but-
need this job.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a charity or you're
Right.
going into the Peace Corps or like something
Like-
that is like genuinely going to help the world.
Of course,
Sure.
something genuine.
I ask that question
Right.
ever.
Because like I feel like that'd be like if you go into an audition. So why are you auditioning for this play? Like
Well,
I mean, most of the time, like at least like with that, like that's genuine. Like I was so interested, but it could also be like I don't know, like I saw the casting and you're paying for it, and I want another
wanna
thing on my
work.
resume,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's why I'm here. So
We've all done shows that we didn't want to do. And
of
Right,
course,
yeah.
yeah.
of course, yeah. But
We all just had the same
we
one.
went.
Yeah.
but we could talk about that later. But I mean,
We will. Sure.
so yeah, thank you guys so much for sharing.
Oh yeah.
I do have a better fired if that.
Oh my God,
we were talking about
please,
earlier
yeah.
that I will share, and I will try to be as vague as possible.
Ready.
Okay.
So, I was asked. So this is actually me getting fired. I was asked to build a set, and let's just say that this set, the design defied physics. Like it literally, it was impossible to actually bring to reality. And so throughout the process, I'll be somewhat specific. So whoever was part of that show, you're gonna know exactly what it was. It was a Murphy bed. So a Murphy bed is like the kind that like folds up into the wall.
Right.
But it was a Murphy bed.
That's what that's called.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know
I
that.
didn't know that until I built one,
That's
yeah.
so cool. I didn't know that.
Yep. So, and I had built a Murphy bed for this company before, but this Murphy bed, the first one, was actually fastened to a wall, so it had like support, so it could actually like, because they're attached by gas springs, so they like they'll like whip up if it's not weighted correctly. And so this second one that they had me try to build was on wheels, so it was like a Murphy bed on wheels with no support on the back of it. So basically, it would want to whip up, and then it would just want to fall over the other side because there was no support. And so when I
Right.
put support, they said, no, that wasn't in the design. You got to take those off. I'm like, okay, cool, I will. And then I did, and then it fell over, and they're like, what the hell, Nathan? I'm like,
And they blamed you?
Wait a minute.
Let's take
Hang
physics
on a
class.
second.
Let's
Yeah.
put two and two together.
You're like, hold on, wait a minute.
So I built that whole set, and that wasn't even the main issue. I mean, it was the main issue, but there were other bad issues with that set. And so, yeah, ultimately I built the whole thing, and then they fired me because they
Oh
didn't
my
like how it
God.
turned out.
I'm
they
so
didn't fire
sorry.
the designer
That's so
They
crazy.
They fired the builder.
for building the design.
Something that
That's
was just
insane.
wrong.
What the fuck?
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Yeah.
So
That's
anyway,
crazy.
Here we
I'd be
are.
so mad.
Yes. Oh, and I had already built like 10 sets for them before that were really good, I thought. Like, I was
I'm
very
sure.
proud of them.
Because, okay, we've worked with you.
Yeah.
Your hard work and your dedication, like, it shows in your work. And I'm just saying.
And
okay.
you're a brilliant constructor. Like, what you do is really impressive and one of a kind, especially in San Diego theater. So.
All right,
Yeah.
so it's their loss. That's all we can
For
say
sure.
about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
So, to kind of give you guys some backstory and just some little bit, I just wanted to chit chat because I feel like it's been for me, it's been so long since I've actually like worked with either one of you in a full on production.
Yeah.
But when I want to talk about like how like we met and everything, and I just have so many fond memories of that time, and
Yeah.
it was just so special. So I met you guys during the Ferryman.
Yeah.
So I want to know really quick, like, what was your process, or like how did you guys get involved in Ferryman?
You mind if I start? Yeah.
Yeah, you start.
So it was really cool. Okay, so it was only my second show with NVA, actually. My first one was like really small. It was a 2-person play with just very little that I actually ended up having to do. Like, it was relatively easy, and it was my first professional show. But then Christiane asked me to come in one day, and you know, I figured that was to talk about stage managing the next shows. And she goes on to start saying like, okay, so we're doing this 3-hour like crazy show with like blood effects, with live animals, with babies, with a 20-something person cat, 24 I think. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. And then she's like, do you want to stage manage it? I'm like, holy shit. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Not even a hesitation. You said,
Oh my God,
absolutely,
I was
fuck yeah, put
right
me
on
in.
it. Yes. No, I was not gonna pass up that opportunity. I also wanted to get out of community theater because it was making me want to quit theater like fully. I absolutely hated it.
And you know, I will say too, I'm like, community theater, like, so much respect to like the people who are in it, and you know, they put in so much hard work, but it is definitely, you do feel a difference going from community theater to professional atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like there's no denying that. But yeah.
Well, and I still have very fond memories of working in community theater. It was the one that I was working at before Ferryman that is what ruined my love of theater at
Right.
the time. So it was great that I then got to do Ferryman, because it was like probably one of, if not the best theater experiences of my life.
Yeah.
And I think that will stay for a long time. Like, it's going to be hard to top that one.
True.
For sure.
True.
Awesome.
Yeah. Priya,
Well,
please share.
actually, yeah, funny enough, I had like taken a semester of school off. I was like halfway through my associates at AMDA, and I had done my first professional show, Witnesses, at the Center for the Arts. And I was like, I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to go back to school. And then I got an email about a callback that was through my high school theater teacher, Jillian Porter. Love Jillian. For the Ferryman. And I was like, okay, it was the day of the first callback.
No way.
And I was like, okay. So, you know, I read the sides, and I was just like so intrigued, and I read about the play, and I was like, okay, just go for it. I mean, and I honestly, I didn't think there was a chance, because it just seemed so big and incredible, but I was so happy to be there. And then went in for that first round, and even then I walked out and I was like, no, that was cool that I
This
got to
was
be
so
here,
fun.
and that was it. And then, you know, it all just kept
Yeah,
unfolding.
that's okay. Because I was curious, because when I heard about the audition for the show,
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people in our cast were invited to the callbacks right away. I was not one of those people. I saw the casting. taped a self-tape. I did 2 different monologues. I did one from a show called The Hatmaker's Wife and a monologue from Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Love it.
I said, let me display some accent work, even though it's not Irish. Let me just show them I got something.
Oh, yeah.
And then I didn't hear anything from when they originally were supposed to have callbacks. So I was like, okay, I didn't get it. That's cool. And then I was at the Trader Joe's, and then I saw the email basically being like, you're invited to callbacks. And then I think I had never felt so prepared for a callback before, which is weird because I've talked about this before. I'm not one to normally read the script before the audition. Okay, like listen, I've made a difference in my life now, and I try to do that as much as I can.
Yeah.
But before, I was like, why am I going to put all this time into reading the script if I might not do this show? Anyway, but Ferryman was one of the first scripts I actually read in college for one of my college classes. So it felt like a very full circle moment because that was my first professional show. Yeah. And I remember reading it, too, because it had just closed on Broadway. And I was like, I'd love to be in something like this. Like, I hope somewhere they bring this back. And it got to be done here. So that was super cool. It was super cool.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
That's so special.
So, I mean, I for sure for that one, I read the script. I looked at my sides. I came in memorized for the parts that called me back for. And then, of course, I got here. They're like, okay, and you're also going to read for these other people. And I was like,
perfect, yeah.
Well, I don't know these, but going to give it my best shot.
Yeah.
And then, I got the email for the second round of callbacks, and I was blown away. I was like, this is the furthest I've ever made it in a professional audition before. Like, I've made it to callbacks, but I'm always cut at round 1, usually because they do dances. And they're like, thank you so much for your time, Jacob.
Do I know that one?
You know that one. You were at one of them.
We'll have to touch on our
you were there for that. But yeah, so then obviously we got cast, and I was so freaking excited because I had never done a professional show before, and just the energy and the atmosphere that our cast had, and that first read through at like that center area that we went to.
So special.
We didn't even get through. We didn't even finish the.
No, we didn't finish it, but we read most of it, and I remember I was just so excited with my 2 lines, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, this is so fun. And it was such a good time. So I'm so grateful for that show, and it was massive, like Nathan said, and we have to talk about the special effects because do you remember Priya? I
already know where we're going.
Okay. Spoiler alert, if you guys have not read or seen The Ferryman, you can stop listening, but if you don't care, I mean, the show happened a couple years ago. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. But so the ending, there's a big climax where there's a lot of death and a lot of blood. And I remember in the initial production meetings and rehearsal calls, we were like, we're going to have this thing to make this happen. It's going to look so cool. And then we got to the rehearsal stage and none of that was present. And they tried some alternate methods to make this special effect happen. And I remember thinking, this is when we start to look, for lack of a better term, like community theater.
Can we talk about the specifics of that too?
Yes, please, because you're like the master genius who ended up saving the day.
So one of them, all right. So again, spoiler, but somebody gets shot in the head at the very end of the show. And it's below like a stair rail. So somebody gets shot in the head, like at basically the base of the stairs. And there are people at the landing of the stairs above them, or above the person who gets shot. And so the plan at the time was to have just a little tiny squirt bottle with fake blood in it. And when the person gets shot, the people up above on the stairs were just going to go whoop and just squirt some blood on the wall. And when we were rehearsing that, I was like,
it looked so bad. It looked so bad.
Really bad. And it was so obvious.
It was so obvious.
You could see the person
and then also I know we were just testing it, but the how the blood looked, I was like, oh, that's water. It was red water. With a little bit of food coloring.
Yeah. So dumb water.
But I was like, this is only my 3rd scene in the show, and I was like, this is how we're going out.
Yep.
I was like, great. I was like, all this build up for this. And because didn't we try, someone was supposed to step on something originally too to get the blood to squirt out?
So instead of this, they also tried just putting it on behind a a railing thing, and somebody was just supposed to like step on it, and it would like squirt the blood out, and that also looked bad. And I think at one point somebody stepped on it and like slipped under their foot, and it like hit the wall, and then it bounced off, and it just it was very bad.
Yeah.
So are we leading up
Huh?
to the grand finale?
Yeah,
of the,
yeah.
of the tests.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it?
The
I mean, in the end, like,
death everywhere, the blood.
yeah. I mean, well, because in the end, Nathan, being the hero he is, said that looks like shit. I don't know if those were his words, but that's what we were all
Probably.
thinking.
Honestly, it wasn't. Like, I wasn't upset. I mean, I was disappointed with it, but it wasn't like, oh, that's terrible, I could do better. It was literally just, I just went home and I had like a couple days off, and I was like, I wonder if I could do this. And I like fiddled around, and then I did it, and I made this like really cool cannon that like shot blood with pressurized air and all
It
that
was
fun
so
stuff.
freaking cool.
Is
And
it-
it like worked so well. A little too well.
Oh,
The first time we
that's
tried
where
it.
I was,
Yeah.
that's where I thought we were headed.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I wanted
that's
to.
a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you mind if I?
Yeah, no, please,
no,
go
it's
for it.
super funny.
Go,
I still
yeah.
have that picture of Ben.
Oh my god.
So, yes, the first time we tried it in rehearsal, we were still testing out like air pressure, like amount of air pressure in the thing, and we put like double what we ended up with at the end, and double the air pressure and like way too much blood. So the splatter on the wall looked like basically if you were to drain a human being of all of their blood and shoot it at the wall.
I mean, it looked
It
cool.
It looked really cool,
insane.
but it was so incredibly pressurized too that it splattered. It literally covered the entire wall. It was probably like a 5 foot by 5 foot splatter,
Yeah.
and it was so pressurized that it hit the wall and bounced off. And you can
Yeah.
still see up in
Oh my
these
God.
pillars
Oh my
up
gosh.
here. There is still
So
blood
crazy.
spatters. Up
I
there.
didn't know
I was
that.
up there recently, and
I didn't
saw
know
them.
it made it up there.
And then also there are people that are right next to it who got drenched in it.
So it was it was also kind of, I mean, not super dark or anything, but it was kind of a traumatizing scene. I remember
Yeah.
from my actor standpoint, me and the couple of the siblings were on top of the stairs and we're kind of watching it. And then it just fucking goes crazy, so much blood. And it splatters on Kim Pappas, who played the mom at the
Yeah.
time, and then one of the brothers, Ben. And it was this was so gory. And they're just standing there and they're both like,
Yeah.
Because it was like
There's
a
so
run
much
through.
blood.
I have a
on them.
video of that.
So,
too.
because like we
I
kept
took a
going, like we didn't
Gotta play
stop.
that
Like
back.
it wasn't like just let's see how this works. Like we were in the show.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we
We were
kept
fully in it.
going.
That's the thing too. Yeah, it was the emotion was all there, and then we see this like
Yeah.
Yeah.
horrific.
They looked like they were in the set of Carrie. I was like, we just dumped the blood on
of
these
Carrie.
actors.
Yeah.
I got splattered
Yep.
a little bit too. Like I was
I
like,
think almost it touched like everyone, even
Yeah.
on in like little bits. I know, like on
I have a
my
picture of
outfit,
it too of me
Yeah.
getting splattered with the
Yeah.
blood. But yeah, I thought it was bad for me. I was like, oh, that's splattered, and I look over and I just see red on Kim and Ben, and I was like, oh.
Red in the peripheral.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
Ben's
oh my
entire
Oh
face was
god,
covered
it's
in it.
crazy.
And then I was thinking, God, how traumatizing! Like,
no, yeah.
how traumatizing
Yeah.
that this is the world our characters live in. But oh my goodness!
And we had like little kids in the show too. We had a couple like really young children.
Yeah.
And so that was another thing. We were like in the show, actually, me and the older sister, Juliana, we had been like covering their eyes in the show, but also at that point it was like, oh, and we're still gonna keep on
They were
turning
like, yeah,
around,
actually don't
and you're
look.
not gonna look at that, buddy, you know, because it was that crazy.
Yeah, it was right there.
They were 9 and 10, I'm pretty sure, at the time.
They were little youngins.
They were real young.
They were young. And then also, 'cause since we're talking about it, we thought we had fixed all the problems, and then we were recording the show for archive purposes. It was the funniest
I was
thing
thinking about that the other
ever. Because I don't know what happened, but something wasn't
I know
reset.
exactly what happened.
Okay,
yeah.
what happened?
So it was our video call run.
Yes.
And it was such a strong run. I remember, like, it was the last showdown between, like, you know, the protagonist and antagonist, and they're like, you know, threatening each other and whatever. And it's pretty like dark and like it's a, you know, edge of your seat moment. And I texted or radioed or something to the ASM Kenna, who was kind of in charge of like loading the gun, the blood gun. But there was a nozzle that you had to close first and then pump the air in it. And the nozzle wasn't closed. And so Kenna started pumping it, and it just made this.
It was so funny being on stage, and because I'm right next to it, I'm closest to it, and then I started to hear. And then I just see the blood regurgitate out of the tube prematurely. I was like, huh? And like, I know, like, we're like, not only like are we doing it, like we're on camera, so like I just turn away, and I was like, first I was panicking because I was like, oh my god, like what do we do? And then I look over and I see our co-stars. I see Tom and Joy, who have to be so serious, just continue like with their lines, but
Too good. It's too good.
And they're trying so hard not to break character, but like you can see it, and it just brought me so much joy seeing Joy just going, it's my decision, my choice. And then we finished like the lines, and then right until another character came in, we broke, and then
they fully broke.
I feel like our director was so mad. She was like, what's going on, y'all?
Yeah.
And we were just laughing hysterically, and I couldn't get words. I was like, the blood is
No, and
hear the
she didn't
fart?
realize either. I don't think she heard it. And then when we explained, she was like, okay, just take it back a few lines, and then
I felt so bad, but
So
I was like,
funny.
it's so funny. I'm so sorry. Like,
the video call too. So that is
That's so
on
crazy,
camera.
too.
It's on
somewhere.
I would love to see that. Like,
Yeah, I was-
Too, yeah.
yeah, I was because I was scared. I was like, what am I allowed? Like, am I gonna look really bad if I laugh right now? And
Yeah.
then seeing like the equity actors laughing, I was, oh, okay. I was like, I guess it's fine.
It's fine.
I was like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But it was so cool, like such a cool effect. And also like to that, because there was so much violence in the show, I will say I loved how cautious and very careful we were when it came to like the safety of all of the cast members and all the crew members. We had to do this check-in every single performance, which at times like I'll be like, okay, like we all know, like it's not a real gun, but like we had to do it. Like it was always like this is a fake gun. There's no way it can be fired. It's not loaded. Please make sure that you can't, like, here you go, hold it, on all that stuff. Like we had to be extra careful. And I was just, I had the gun pointed at me, so like I had to go through the safety measures too. But I appreciated how safe that you guys were trying to make us feel. So
somebody actually had shot with it too. Like they get it, and like fully cocked and fired.
Yeah, I got shot with it for a night too. So like I understand.
You were like, oh no.
I was like, no, I was there for that.
Yeah, and then we had a straight razor that I spent like 20 minutes just out back here rubbing it on the sidewalk to dull it down.
Yeah.
And then I came back in, and I quite literally, I'm going to put the mic down. I brought it back in and went like this on my hand to show everybody that it wasn't sharp. But what I didn't do first is say, this is not sharp anymore. And so I did that in front of everybody.
Oh my
like,
God.
Nathan! And then,
So don't do that.
That's
So we had
Safety.
weapon checks every day.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of violence, and then even there was fist fights. And then, somebody's, again, so spoiler alert, somebody's throat gets sliced at the end with that straight razor.
People are probably like, what the hell is this show?
This show was, incredibly
You know
violent.
what's funny too is like this is just the ending.
And we're
like
talking about
it's
it, so
pretty
we're just
happy
like,
for
oh,
most of
yeah,
it.
the ferryman, and then
It
we're
was
like,
so
a throat
sweet.
gets
There was a baby and there was
sliced.
a bunny in it, and like,
Yeah, no.
someone was shot in the head.
Throat
Yeah.
sliced. Yep.
Yeah,
Perfect. Yeah.
crazy show, but
Yeah. I mean,
A lamp caught on fire.
a lamp caught on fire.
there
There's
was a lot
Yeah.
of safety. You have always been. I mean, I've done a couple shows with Nathan, and obviously Fun Home, which I did with Nathan as well, was really different in safety ways. But you've always been really good about checking
We
people in
appreciate you.
and just being so on top of it, and always making everyone feel good about that. So
Thank you.
Thank you,
that's
Nathan,
awesome.
for doing what you do.
yeah,
It is
seriously.
a big fear of mine
great.
to have somebody hurt on set.
Of
Yeah.
course.
And I mean, even just like outside of being a stage manager, that would suck. I don't want people to get hurt.
Yeah.
I think too that was one of like the biggest like indicator things to me. What made me feel like, oh, I'm in a professional production was how seriously we took that,
Yeah.
and like the fight calls too, and the fight coordinators and all that like cool stuff. Like that was definitely like the first time like I think I had experienced like what it was like to go to work and not want to leave work, because I was like, I want to keep working on stuff. Like,
Me too.
I felt that way during the Ferryman.
Well, and that's why I was so happy to do those effects too, because like I wanted to make the show as good as it could possibly get, and so like I mean half of that I didn't even clock in for. Like doing
you were like, I'm just here
at home, and the lamp on fire thing. Like I didn't clock in for any of that. I didn't want to. I was like, no, I like.
I mean, it seemed to make you really happy too. Like you'd bring it in, but also everyone was like, we should have. Like we were all just so like impressed. I mean, that goes for I think anything you do, but like especially during the Ferryman, like with all those, everyone was like, "What the Nathan?" You know, and you got your your credits.
Yes, and yes, I'm
deserved.
very proud and very happy about that. So thank you all as well.
Of course.
No, it's...
So, I love talking about Ferryman. We could talk about Ferryman all day long. It's so great.
Yeah.
But I also just really quickly, because, I'm here with another actor. I'm here with a stage manager. I kind of want to like just hear really quick, like briefly, since they've all heard my story. Like how'd you guys get your start in theater? And like, do we have like any like goals or hopes, like, coming up like in the future for either one of you? And like, was it always like acting, or like were you guys involved in any other capacity?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I've always been a real shy kid, or I was at least, and then
Same.
And I got put in vocal classes on and off when I was younger, and that was something that was like, okay, she has this skill. She can't maybe do school or anything else. No, but no, and at least I could sing. No, and then I was too shy to really do any theater or anything. I know like it always interested me. Being on stage performing was always very intriguing, but I was always too scared. And then in high school, my freshman year, Sage Creek, where Nathan and I went, I got put into the most brilliant theater class with the most brilliant woman, Jillian Porter, and I was like, oh, and there was something so magical about being able to step into someone else, because that kind of, I got to like tap into very creative juices that I had, and like talents that I knew like were there, but also I kind of got to put behind like Priya. Scared Priya was over here, and I was doing something else and being someone else, and so that's kind of was the start there. But I knew from a young age that I wanted to do that. I didn't know what specifically, and then found theater, and I started to gain confidence in my skills and what I did, and then I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. As we all have our little moment.
And you are so good. I will just say that really quickly, because first of all, I got to see it all the time in Ferryman, but then I also got to see you perform. You did a concert version of Witnesses that was stunning. So freaking good.
So much.
And then I saw you in Fun Home, and like, it wasn't even like, I was like, well, like I know Priya's going to be great in that one too, but like I'd never heard you
so
sing
sweet.
before. So that was really cool getting to experience that. And you were so good.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, so I've been so privileged to do professional theater out here. I took a break from performing arts school to start with professional theater, and then I went back to school and finished my degree, and just done a couple things here and there. But honestly, right now, in terms of goals, is what your last part of that was, is like figuring out how to be an independent adult while trying to pursue this career, because if I'm being honest, and this could happen to later, but like a lot of kids around, we're not kids anymore, but we're in our 20s, but like it's still like a lot of people our age and younger that go into this have a lot more support, I think.
Right.
At least I do. And so right now I'm like, how do I survive and then also work the theater in? And,
yes.
So that's kind of been the goal lately. But
that's real though. Yeah.
But I'm really lucky that I get to do what I do, including at NVA. So thank you, NVA.
Thank you, NVA.
for your support. So I'll give it over to you.
Yeah. It's similar. It started with Jillian.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jill.
She's the best.
So how did it start? Okay, so I have two older brothers. Oldest brother did some lighting design in high school, and I'd come to see like some shows sometimes, and he'd say like, oh, it's really fun, and you get to meet people. And so that was at Carlsbad High School. I didn't go there, and so I figured I need something to do to like something extracurricular to like meet people. So I figured, okay, like I'll give theater a try. And so I went in and I took theater 1, and I told Jillian like, hey, I want to do backstage stuff too, like mostly. And she said, okay, cool. We don't really have a program, so do you want to like stage manage it? And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but sure. And so bada boom, there I am. I'm a stage manager already, and I did like most of the shows through my 4 years. I took theater classes, I think I took 3. So there was 1 year that I didn't. And so within those classes, I acted like a tiny bit, but I've never been in front of an audience. So I will maintain that I have never acted, like actually.
You acted in rehearsals when some people didn't show up. I will just say,
Nathan
you
on
acted
book.
a couple times.
That's an actor right
read
there.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That is it. And I felt super uncomfortable because I had all of you professional actors watching me do it, and it was awful and scary. So there, that's
We were all just so excited.
Oh yeah, every time we're like, he gets to shine in a different way today, folks.
Yeah. Well, maybe again eventually I will read for somebody, but yeah, no, it is
Yes.
terrifying.
Because I will just say, Nathan, never say never, because, and you know, I never miss an opportunity to give a shout out to our girl Ali Flores, because we love her with all of our heart and soul.
Yeah.
But Ali Flores, and she has announced this, is doing some acting for the first time in like 6 years.
Yeah.
So excited.
I'm so excited.
so
She's doing a
thrilled.
stage reading.
Which I'm stage managing, by the way. So
You're
I'll be here
stage managing
for it.
that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I get to be here
Great.
for it.
Double reason. I'm so excited. And Allie, I felt so honored. She sent me a Snapchat. She was like, you're the first person I'm telling this to, but I'm acting again. Like
so
I'm doing the stage,
sweet.
and I lost it. I'm so excited. I love her. She is genuinely one of the sweetest human beings.
Sweetest.
But yeah, so I'm just saying, like Allie thought
Well, but so here's a big but here.
a big butt.
Yes. She started acting. I have never acted.
Okay.
So you say no, never say never. The never that I'm giving is a past tense never, so I have never acted.
Okay.
I'm not saying I will never act, but it is very unlikely. So there you go.
So we gotta like figure out a way.
Okay, so
to
yeah, no,
have
I'm
you,
already
like, at least
I'm
have a cameo
do-do-do-do-do-do.
in a show.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I've had like a cameo because when I was working with Carlsbad Community Theater, hi,
Hey guys.
we did Beauty and the Beast, and I was working just backstage, just stage crew. And during Be Our Guest, we had a table on stage that needed to get off, and none of the actors could do it because they were busy dancing and singing and whatever. And so we had like a group of girls that were dressed as napkins. Like they'd come out on stage in a line, and I was like the last one in the line doing a stupid little dance for like 2 seconds. And then I'd grab the table and like waltz with it off stage.
Oh.
Were you a
That's so
napkin?
No, I was.
You were just in your black.
I was in my
Were you a
blacks. That is it. I was in my.
I was like, wait. I was like, were you in a costume?
Aw.
Well, and that's what I think was so funny is they didn't. They were fine with me just
You
coming out of
just
my
run on,
blacks.
yeah,
Like,
okay.
oh, it's a
It was
crew
just
member.
a black napkin. It's
Exactly,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've had a cameo, I suppose.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And
we'll
then I've
take
acted
it.
So where do we leave off on your journey? So
Oh,
taken a few
where did we
theater
leave
classes.
off? Right. So I started stage managing in high school, and then my brother still had some connections with Carlsbad Community Theater because he was gonna lighting design for them, and then he said that they needed crew. So I think like this summer of like between freshman and sophomore year, I started doing backstage crew for them just for community service hours. And so that's kind of how it started. I just started doing crew for them, and then as soon as I turned 18, they hired me as a stage manager. AB5 wasn't a thing yet though, so I was still getting stipends of like $200 for like a whole show. So
Woohoo!
still barely paid, but I was just doing it for fun. Yeah.
Hey, that was my first check.
hey, you
Yeah,
know what?
$200.
No, I mean getting
I
paid
mean,
for
and
a
it was
period
taxed.
is
Well, and I
exciting.
wasn't doing it because I thought like, oh, I'm gonna like make it big one day. I was
Right.
doing it because it was fun. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, then COVID happened, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm like never going to do theater again because everything was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
But then out of the blue, I get a text from people at OTC, and then from OTC, I came here.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you started out at OTC.
Well, they were like my second theater that I
Okay,
worked at.
yeah.
But yeah, I did their like junior program. So I
Okay.
stage managed all their junior shows, which
Oh, that's cool. He said,
He said, the youth.
Hey, listen, youth, it's
No,
a
no.
challenge.
No, the
Not for the
kids
weak.
were not the problem.
Oh.
I loved the kids.
Ooh.
Oh,
So I'm,
so he's got something to say about that.
yeah,
but listen,
yeah,
I get it. I get it.
yeah.
I
The-
get it.
The people who I'm talking about are probably eventually going to watch this. So I'm
I
gonna,
don't know if they will. Listen, people think. I know. Okay,
Yeah.
first of all, guys, like my co-host Sheradyn and I are always like, people always are like, oh my gosh, I'm on a podcast, and I'm like, listen, I hate to like burst bubbles, but like if we're not like that big or anything. Like we have a podcast,
Yeah.
yes, but
Yeah.
I'm like, no one knows who we are. It's okay. Like
But-
a couple people listen,
the
but
theater world of San Diego is pretty small.
It's pretty tiny,
yeah,
yeah.
that is true.
There is a chance that eventually it will make its way
Yeah.
to them.
I'll
And
send them the link to right now.
I can't say that either. Like I actually just had an old friend from high school message me saying that she listened to like 5 of the episodes while she was at work, and I was like, oh, that's really sweet.
That's so
Thank
cute.
you.
That's sweet.
So yeah, I'm like, I need to stop saying that. Thank you to the people who do listen and who
Yeah.
have
Thanks,
consistently
guys.
listened. Thank you so much, and
Yeah.
please continue to listen.
You're the best.
You're the best. You're the best. Yeah. Okay. So you kind of like already segued into that. So I'm like, we don't have to get too much into detail, but I'm like, so since we talked about how Ferryman was a wonderful, positive experience, and how
Yeah.
we're so grateful for this, but like, have there been times when like you have thought like maybe you're like, is this not something I want to continue with anymore, or like if there have been
1000%.
experiences that like maybe weren't the best for y'all? I mean, like I said, we don't have to get too much into detail about certain things, but I think it's important, as actors and as people in this industry, to talk about these kinds of things because
Yeah.
there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was just a part of something that was not my favorite experience,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Right.
I'm in the end, like at the end of the day, like so grateful that I got to do it, and I made more great connections.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was not treated, or I felt, and not just my words, like these came from people who saw the show and told me, they were like, you were great, you were wonderful, but we did feel you were underutilized in this production. And they were like, what was that about? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I mean, honestly, I think communication was the biggest problem with the show. And yeah, I mean, I talked about this briefly a couple episodes ago with Sheradyn and Kiki, so I'm like, you guys can also listen to that too. But yeah, that was my first, I think, time in professional theater that I had felt very, not like I want to quit theater, but I was like, I can't wait for the show to be done, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that made me so sad because like I never want to have that attitude when I go into a job, because no one does. Like, you want to make sure that you're doing the work and it's good work, and you want to feel like you're doing something positive. But at times I was like,
Right.
am I contributing anything to this? Because I did not feel like it. But that's just me. People said they had fun, they liked the show, so that's kind of what I'm going off of with that. But yeah, no tea, no shade, but also
a little.
but also a little bit,
Also, right.
make some improvements,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think more than the specific experiences I've had with the shows I've worked on, I mean, I think as an actor, it's what's gotten me is the insecurity that hits me and that I've had to really work through, and that stems from deeper than just theater, like just stems from just the things in my life and what's formed me. But it can be such a battle that I go like, is this worth it? Is this healthy? That I'm just so like, I'm standing there and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm not good. Like, this is, and that's, not so much my experiences with theater. There's definitely been a few, interesting people and directors and like first, I'm like, first professional show I did, I remember like the whole experience. So I was a swing for that show. And I think actually, speaking on understudy and swinging, I don't know if you understudied or swung. I don't think you understudied
I will say, every show that I've done at NVA,
Yeah.
whether I technically had the title or not,
Love that.
I have understudied or learned another person's track.
Yeah.
So I have
Okay.
gone on for alternate tracks.
Yeah.
All 3 times I've worked at New Village Arts.
Yep.
So, yes.
So that experience is, and I'm not saying like I'm better than being that or doing that at all. It's actually just navigating being the other choice is really interesting when it's already such a testing career in terms of ego.
Right.
And so I remember like it's so funny, like this experience was one of my first in professional world, but it was like very jarring. I was just called back for the final callback for witnesses, and this is fine. I mean, if they see this, if they know themselves. So I love you guys. But I went in for the final callback, and it was a pretty huge panel. I mean, it was like a lot of the main people because
Right.
it was original and whatever. And the Dead Center's director and producer at Center for the Arts, so the main peeps, and one of them. I went in, we were assigned like a part of one of the songs, and then they also made us sing kind of out of the blue like a random song from our book. And so I did that, and then I went up and stood in the center. Hi, my name is Priya. And the one person in the center was on his phone. Oh. And this is the producer. I know he knows. He knows who he is, but
Like
he was
like
on
a
his
total
phone,
La La
like
Land
fully,
moment?
like full, like hand and face. Everybody else was pretty engaged, I think, but also like I'm not like staring at them, but I can
Right.
see my peripheral. I mean, we're in the room. I'm not like that good of an actor, damn. But no, so he's sitting there with his phone, and I do this whole, and it's such an emotional song, and I hit like the high note like 20 seconds in, and he kind of like, oh, okay, and goes back on his
Oh,
phone
she
and
got
goes,
it.
thank you, yeah, okay. And that was probably one of those few moments where I was like,
So, did you perform every show, or were you...
no. So actually, they did something really interesting. I mean, actually reverse. They had this 2 swings that we had go on in the opening and the closing, and then they had us sing with the pit that was like in a separate room actually, and that was really interesting. That was also one of those like imposter syndrome moments of
course,
because I was like, every audience member, nobody cares, but in my head I was like, every audience member that notices this is like, who the fuck are those people? Because we came on for like 2 seconds and then we left, and then in the closing number we all bowed with like all the people, and it was like
they were like, who are these
and
people?
I hated it every night because I was like, I didn't do any of the work, bowing, leave the stage, it was like so
Right.
interesting. But
I didn't know that.
I think overall being a swing is so testing because like you do so much work,
Do so much.
and you are still not really included in a lot of, especially in that experience, because it was a lot more I mean, it was pretty important. There was a lot of like really high-end composers that have composed for Broadway, and they're like big people, and so I felt that much smaller because I was
Right.
swing, and I kind of still feel that way. It's always like lingers, and so even though like would be honored to do that, be a swing or an understudy in any show and work in any capacity, it still is something interesting to navigate, and one of those things where I go, can my ego take this career?
100%. 100%.
That's kind of the battle there.
And kind of like, adding to that, just because, I get it. Like, I've been a swing and an understudy before, but like my situations have always been, I'm always in the show no matter what. Like, I was cast in the show, and then later on down the line, they've been like, hey, can you also learn this just in case something happens?
Yeah.
And of course something happens, and then I'm put into a different role. But I think people tend to like forget, and I'm guilty of doing this too, but like we tend to like think like the swings or the understudies are like, they're the ones like who aren't quite good enough to like get the role. But then again, I'm like, no. At the end of the day, like they're the ones who are learning 5 different roles for the show, and then they're expected to like last minute jump into one of those roles, and they do it perfectly, or at least as perfectly as they can. Like we worked with amazing swings and understudies in Ferryman, and they had all of them went on at one point. And
all did brilliantly.
Didn't miss a beat. Like it was so good. And I was so like impressed with them. I was like, I'm only understudying 1 track in this, and you're learning how many? Okay, good for you. No thanks, I'm not doing that.
No
and
thanks,
then
for sure.
I had to learn 2 for 1222 Oceanfront, A Black Family Christmas, and that was terrifying.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
I'm like, I I have to learn all these songs too, and I have to learn different harmonies. Like, I'm like, this is a lot of work
Yeah,
to do.
so much work, not so much payoff. So
Right.
it's so interesting.
And you're like,
yeah.
maybe I'll get to go on, but it's not a guaranteed thing.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah.
but yeah, Swing Nations, understudies, thank you for all your work.
So again, I'm not an actor. I've never
You're not an
swung
actor?
or understudied. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Surprise. But I will also say that every swing I have ever worked with, present company included, I have never thought like they're less than. I've been super excited to see them go on every single time. Like, so Ferryman, and then for the most recent one that you just did, and then the show that we're doing right now, come see it. 8-track. The Sounds of the
8-track
70s.
here at New Village Arts. Yes,
Yes.
we will be doing some promo by the end of this because we got a lot of shows we got to talk about.
Yeah.
And pitch to y'all. So
Well, yeah, so the swings for this show, so spoiler, I guess, there's like 52 songs in this show. There's so many, and they have to learn every single one of them in 2 different tracks. So, yeah, they are incredible people. I've never thought that, and I hope that other people don't think this, but I've never thought that swings are less than. Like, they definitely have to do more work. And that's also, shout out to NVA, that's also what I admire about NVA is that they always have a guaranteed swing day.
is that a new
Yeah.
thing now?
I don't know. Didn't we do it for Ferryman?
No, we didn't have a guaranteed swing day on Ferryman.
No, we just had for Fun Home.
And
had
we
it.
didn't have
Right,
that either
okay.
for 1222 Oceanfront either. So like I was an understudy, but I wasn't guaranteed any shows in those
We may have
tracks.
started it then. I mean, not we. They may have started it in like Singing in the Rain then, because Singing in the Rain was right
Okay.
after Ferryman, I think.
Yes.
Because Doubt we did it. Singing in the Rain we did
Yeah.
it. Oh my God, what other shows have I done here? Fun Home, 39 Steps. Yeah, we did. Yeah, so everything.
Oh, that's cool.
So I guess right after 1222, I guess is when they implemented it.
Okay.
I don't know, but yes, that is now a thing. That
Yeah.
they have a guaranteed day that we plan for. It's like next Saturday, I think, for us.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Singing in the Rain, no.
Singing in the Rain. That was
No, that
okay,
was just
but I will
funny now.
say about that because it is funny, and
Yeah.
I did. I've
Like, it's
talked
just a
about
funny
this.
story I tell. to
Yeah,
people.
I've talked about this on previous episodes, but I
Yeah.
will say that was one of like the first like outside Ferryman rehearsals where like I got to interact with Priya, and we still didn't know each other that well yet because we still hadn't done a read through. Like we had done
Yeah.
like the Zoom stuff,
Right.
and like I knew who you were, but like I didn't know who you were yet. Like I was like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that girl is in the Ferryman with me, because the callbacks were happening for that.
It was also doing like a.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Like, I should go talk to her and say
Yeah,
hi.
yeah.
And then I did, and that callback was more fun because I was like, okay, like at least
Yeah.
I got a buddy here.
Same here.
But yeah,
Was it the most humbling experience I've ever been through on a stage? Yeah.
Oh yeah, can't tap dance.
Yes.
I talked about that before. I just did a little jig and said thank you
Hey,
for
we
your
did
time.
that. Yeah.
And then Priya and I both didn't hear anything back until we were in rehearsal and saw that people were outside being like, we're here for callbacks.
That was funny too because they had said like, we'll let you know, that kind of thing. I mean, let's be real. I mean, for me personally, that was like it was very clearly not for me because I think like I just thought, you know what, I've taken a couple tap classes, I'll be good, and then they taught us the most like complicated Gene Kelly routine that I've ever seen in my
It is
life.
crazy shit.
And
in
it
that
was
show.
like taught in 10-15 minutes,
Oh, it was
and then
so
I went up and
fast.
like flapped. It was probably I almost left actually.
Oh,
That was the
I
only
wanted to.
callback
I almost didn't
that I
go.
actually was like, okay, if I pick up my bag and leave the room now, it'll be a little embarrassing for a second, but less embarrassing in the long run. And then I was like, no, I can't do it because Christiane's sitting right there and she's
Exactly.
about to direct me in a show.
I was like, that's the only reason why I can't leave. I'm like, I'm already employed with this theater, and and my director is in this callback room, so I can't just leave.
And I think I just thought it was going to be chiller. Wasn't. But that's okay. No, and so then obviously like they send out the email and they're like, okay, well, we'll let you know. And then one day we're in
Rehearsal for the Ferryman.
we both are, I think we were like next to each other. We were around each
Yeah,
other
we
when
were
we
like-
saw it. And then we were all, Oh!
Hey guys.
Cool, hey!
What you doing here?
Yeah, it was like
Oh, yeah.
it was like back out there, and it was just that was so funny. Yeah, did I think I was gonna get it? No, but it was just the timing of it all was so funny.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest feeling in the world, but I mean, hey, happy for the people who did get it.
I will say though,
Yeah.
y'all probably dodged a bullet because that was a hard show for the cast.
I heard
the tap numbers. God damn.
Nope.
Yeah.
Insane.
Wasn't me. Hey, no thanks.
Yeah.
And hey, we've worked here since then, so you know I'm not upset about
I thought
it.
my career was over for a second.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, no, me too. I was like,
thought
I'm
that
never
no one
getting
would
cast
ever
here.
cast
Yeah, I was like, I'm about to get blacklisted. Like they're gonna be like, hey, by the way,
right.
this actor, we called him back for Singing in the Rain. Don't bother. From this point on,
I was just like a flopping fish, but
a flopping fish.
flopping fish. But here we are now.
Here we are now,
Shows later.
and we're I think we're doing fine.
We're doing okay.
Yeah.
So we're about to wrap up, but before we do, I want to know: do we have any projects that we can announce to promote really quick for you guys?
I mean, it's pretty known. Just NBA's whole season. Basically.
The whole NBA season for Nathan.
Yeah.
Well, no,
right.
I'm not during the whole season, but so 8-track.
Yes.
Come see it. It's really fun. We're like the set is right here. We can't show you.
Yeah,
obviously.
it's right in front of us.
Oh, right. Yeah, we're recording. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
And then I'll be doing. Well, okay. So our ASM for 8-track right now, Joseph Paz. Shout out.
Hey, Joseph.
Will be also working on Thanksgiving Play, which is our next thing here. And then we got Miracle on 30. Oh my God, why do I always forget this? 34th Street?
Yes.
Yep.
Miracle on 34th Street is the next one, and I'm stage managing that one. Then we got Half-Life of Mary Curie, stage managing that one with... Wait.
You got this.
Wait. That's Kim.
Kim?
With Kim Pappas. That's right. And then Kay Marion, is her last name?
Yep.
Marion. Kay Marion is directing Miracle.
Co-directing.
Co-directing, yes.
Oh, that's cool.
You know more about the season than I
Sorry,
do.
We're like, yes,
Yeah.
we are
Sorry, one more
advocating for NBA. But,
Yes. Yes.
and then you're also
love
doing.
NBA.
You just said, what is it called? POTUS? Is that what it's
Oh
called?
yeah. We got POTUS. Oh my God. And then, so that's for Carlsbad Play Readers. That's what Ali Flores is in. And then I'm building a set that I designed fully for the first time. Like I've mostly designed all the sets that I build for Sage Creek High School for Jillian Porter. But this one I like fully designed it now, and it is humongous. It's like a big old 7-foot thing with towers and shit. It's really, really cool and
That's
big.
so cool.
Nathan is booked and blessed.
I'm booked and blessed,
busy.
but it's because I live in Encinitas.
He's
and
the
it
best
is
in the biz,
unaffordable
actually.
there.
That's why.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you're also just good at your job. So
I'm like,
I think there's a reason why you keep getting booked. So
Well, yeah. I would like to be booked more so I don't have to work my stupid restaurant job.
wouldn't we all?
Wouldn't we
Yeah.
all?
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah.
I can't wait for the day to go to Trader Joe's and be like, thank you so much. Here's my 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been real, but
Yeah. But see, what's so disappointing is I did that once already. Like, I quit this job before
Yeah.
during Ferryman, and now I'm back.
Hey.
and you're like,
Sucks.
hello,
Stuff happens.
hello again.
Yeah.
That's our reality,
Performing arts
unfortunately.
life.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's just how it is for people in theater.
Yeah.
We don't do this to make money.
Non-union.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, we're non-union. I'm not making
I
that
said
equity check.
non-union
Exactly.
life right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am going to be doing Stranger Sings, the parody musical. I'm going to be playing Barb, so you got to come see it.
Barb.
Barb. At OTC, Kevin Black's the best. Of the
Yes,
best.
Kevin Black's. He directed Chicken and Biscuits.
Yeah.
I was in that earlier this year. I'm so excited too because I plan on having Kiki back on the podcast and hopefully some more Chicken and Biscuits people in a couple days, and we're going to talk about that
Oh,
show
that's awesome.
too. So.
Yeah. So.
And Ali Flores is working on that one too.
Yeah, the
Ali Flores
best.
is always booked and blessed.
So excited. Yeah. So it'll be a really fun show.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I'm doing nothing. That's okay. I'm working on this podcast. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Those are my plans for the rest of 2024.
But you're still doing theater things.
But who knows?
This is a theater
This
thing.
is a theater thing, and I am actually helping out with my middle school kids.
And
but
anything can happen. We all know on a whim.
We on
Things happen. Things
That's
fall
what I've been
in.
telling people. I'm like, at the moment, I don't have anything booked and planned. the 2 shows I did do this year, I was not supposed to, that was not in my plan to do, and they happened. So you never know. But at the moment, I have no plans for the rest of the year to do a show, except for working with my middle school kids and doing this podcast. So I plan on supporting my friends, though, and I'm very excited to do that. Yes, thank you guys so much for coming and doing an episode with me.
Thank
this
you
was
for
so
having
fun.
us. This is incredible.
I was nervous, but I'm
No, I promise. I'm like, it's so low stakes, low pressure,
Right,
and it's just fun.
Yeah.
well, as soon as we sat down, I was like, okay, this is
Like you guys got it. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for, and you guys are always welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
Because I love this. This was such a fun little reunion for us, and I can't wait for everyone to see it and hear it. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Go follow Priya. Go follow Nathan. I'll link their Instagrams and everything in the video, and on the Spotify stuff. All the in my post production stuff.
things.
I'll worry about that
All
later.
things.
I have a lot to do, guys. It's okay. But stay tuned. We have some more episodes coming up with Sheradyn and I, more guest stars coming up in the next few episodes, and it's going to be so much fun. Be kind to everyone out there, and enjoy. Thank you guys so much. Bye, guys. Bye.